is Soundout here, back to another Transformers Generations review. This time we got the retool of the last one I reviewed. This time we have Blurr, who is a retool of Awesome Drift, whose arm decided to just fold up like that. Anyway, that noise you hear is my hard drive downloading Kamen Rider Kiba. So, I apologize for that. It should only be for this, little small segment. But, I need to get this filmed. Anyway, there's probably going to be a short review since he's essentially the same toy as, Drift. With new weapons, new head, and a new spoiler. Anyway, here he is in the box. The one they had at Walmart was this nice little bent one. I couldn't resist. Surprisingly, they didn't have Dirge. Anyway, you got a nice little picture of him going, "I'm Blurr," with looks like dolls of rise. Oh. So you can see there he is in the vehicle mode. There's Dirge there. I really want him. On the back, you got your bio stuff. Those who suppose, based on its high-speed history and fast-talking demeanor, that Blurr lacks patience. Those people are wrong. He appears to be always on the move because he always has somewhere he needs to be, delivering a sensitive data packet or a round of electro laser fire to a Decepticon squad. When he must wait, he can do so in absolute silence and stillness for hours until his target is centered in his crosshairs. So anyway, he's got a courier mode instead of a car, but okay. Weapons stored in hip holsters, which I thought actually works pretty well. Blasters form rifle bipod. Dual laser blasters. So yeah, very cool. He's got a strength of 6 and intelligence of 7. Speed, of course, is 10. Endurance 6. I wish I could focus. Oh, there we go. Rank 9, courage 9, fire blast 8, skill 8. He is a level 3 of 5. Actually 6 levels, so. Anyway, so let's get Generations Blurr open with the snap of my magic fingers. Magic fingers are fun. Anyway, here is Blurr's vehicle mode. This is a very nice looking vehicle mode. As you can see, there is the giant rifle on the bottom here, where it should belong. You can see his hands there. Essentially what Drift's underside looks like. Now, despite being the same mold aside from this back spoiler, this vehicle mode looks very different because of the paint. It is based off of the IDW design, but it looks very nice. This is certainly a great vehicle mode. I actually like it a lot better than the animated version's vehicle mode. Anyway, you can see he's got an Autobot symbol here, which is tampoed on. He's got this back windshield and a little paint back here, giant gun sticking out the back. He's got the same wheels as Drift. But yeah, he's got over rear mirrors too. Very nice detail. You can see his feet inside there because of that. But yeah, very nice looking. And it rolls pretty good. Now, you need to have the handle of the rifle facing this way in order for it to roll right. I don't know why. It just doesn't want to roll right with it the other direction. Now here's a side-by-side shot of Blurr with Drift here, who's still awesome. Anyway, as you can see, the spoiler is a lot different, but the molding detail, this is interesting. It looked like, from images, that these are two completely different hoods of, hood areas. But it is the same molding. If you look close enough, it is the same molding. Nothing has changed. Just the paint scheme is so radically different. It's just really nice looking. So, they're really distinct toys. More so in vehicle mode than robot, though. Anyway, yeah, let's just... I don't know. How should I do this? I'm going to do it traditionally. So, let's get this guy transformed. Now, Blurr looks really nice. He's got similar molded detail to Drift, but as you can now tell, the Autobot logos are no longer there, and instead they've been replaced with some nice little detailing. You do have the Autobot symbol on the chest, though, so you're not lacking faction symbols here. Same thing, but parts that weren't painted on Drift are painted on Blurr, and parts that aren't painted on Blurr are painted on Drift. The peg back here that holds the gun in place, that is now colored blue, and you can attach the gun right onto here. And there you go. Not much else to say. It's essentially what I did a couple months back with Drift. I mean, there's not much else. He's got the same double jointed elbows, rotation, ball jointed elbows. His neck still only goes that far. But yeah, very nice head sculpt. By the way, that's new. I completely forgot to mention that. You know, knees, hips. So fairly good articulation. Now, what's cool about the rifle is you have this freaking giant rifle that you probably couldn't hold with one hand. And thus they've included this little handle so you can give him that, so you can kind of like be holding it. Not like for shooting poses, but just kind of like, hey, I got a gun, I'm holding it now. So very nice. Now, of course, he does have his two little pistols, which replaced the cleavers from the original version, and those just fit in his hand. If you're a G1-ish person, you might want to just keep that like that. Anyway, if you do take those out, both of them, you can do a pretty neat little trick. Now, because this is a rifle, it's meant to be held in a scope-type position. If you clip the little blasters on here, like so, attaching to these pegs is pretty simple. You can, in fact, set this down. You can't see that, but you can set that down. And now he's got a little like bipod trigun thing, in which you can have him just kind of like sitting here with the rifle in his hand, ready to shoot. Sitting like that, essentially. I mean, the neck joint doesn't go up as high as I wish it would, but there you go. You can fire from a great distance to attack those Decepticons. Those evil Decepticons. They're so badass. Anyway, magic fingers. So here's Blurr's next to Drift, and as you can tell, things I've already mentioned, essentially, where things are painted on Drift, they aren't painted on Blurr. Things painted on Blurr aren't painted on Drift. So nice little balance. I know they had Blurr in mind when they created the Drift mold, I believe. But yeah, very nice. As you can see, the weapons and the head are essentially what's different here. But yeah, that's basically it. Blurr is great. If you didn't really like the Drift character and you didn't really want to own a toy of him, I mean, you can still own the mold. And if you're a classics person and you want to have all the G1 characters, well, Blurr's a must-have. He was a great character. But I totally recommend him. If you see him, pick him up. He's certainly one of the better generations. He's better than Red Alert, who is literally falling apart in my hands because his mold has been used too many times. But yeah, totally. Go for it. Totally recommended. You know, get Drift and Blurr. They are a nice side-by-side comparison. They still are pretty different, just like the Sideswipe Sunstreaker Red Alert mold and the punch-counter-punch thing that I never got because I was like, too expensive. Well, that's because I have a Gaia memory fetish. But, anyway, yeah. At least I'm finally done with Gaia memory buying. Anyway, that is a different franchise. That is a different country, even. But totally recommended. There is the Japanese Transformers United version coming out. I haven't seen images of it yet, but it might be a little bit better. It probably is going to be just the same. So, see him, pick him up. I think he's on Hasbro Toy Shop still. But totally recommended. If you didn't really dig Drift, certainly what you want to go for. Enough rambling. I'm glad I got a Transformers review done for once. Until next time, Soundout saying goodbye.